All right, everybody, welcome. First off, we have Steve Beck, the Military Bowl Foundation President and Executive Director. Steve, thanks for joining us. If you could please open up with a statement and just talk a little bit about the bowl and the selection process.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it. We're really excited. Another great year for the Military Bowl. Of course, tickets, parking, hotel information will all be online at militarybowl.org. A few notes about the game that I think you should be aware of. Bowl week is in Washington, D.C., so the teams will see the sights of D.C. and visit the National Museum of American History and Culture. The game itself is in Annapolis, Maryland, which is about 40 minutes away. We'll have a big fan fest the day before the game. It's a Military Bowl Eve Miracle on West Street in downtown Annapolis. Budweiser Clydesdales with a bunch of festive activities will be there. We'll also have scavenger hunt and a pub crawl, and then game day. We'll start with the parade that leaves City Dock at 10 a.m. and then the tailgates begins also in the parking lot at 10 a.m. We'll have all kind of military activations. To start off the game, fly over the giant flag. We'll be joined by 10 Medal of Honor recipients, which is the nation's highest military decoration. So the best way is to download the Military Bowl app to stay up to date. And our game is a little bit different. We are a charitable entity, and the game benefits the USO and Patriot Point. Part of what makes us a little bit different is that we own a 294-acre retreat center outside of Cambridge, Maryland, for our nation's wounded, ill, and injured service members, their families, and their caregivers. So hope that you would visit patriotpoint.org and learn a little bit more about that. It really is something amazing we have going on. As far as the actual matchup, we're really excited. We got Central Florida, UCF, which is advanced to the American Conference Championship game, which has been ranked for over a month now. And folks around the ACC certainly have taken notice of what Duke has done in their turnaround year with Mike Elko as the ACC Coach of the Year. So very excited to get things going, and we look for a great week for both teams up here in Washington, D.C. and Annapolis.
Thank you, Steve. We'll open it up for a couple questions. Steve Wiseman, would you like to start?
Sure, I'll start. Steve, thanks for joining us today. Just tell us what made Duke an attractive team for you guys. I know they've not been to your bowl before, and they've been bowl eligible a few times here in recent years, last decade or so, and haven't been able to match up with you guys. So just tell us what made Duke the right choice this year.
Well, quite a few things. Number one, I think Washington, D.C. area is the second largest area with Duke alumni, next to the Raleigh-Durham market, beating Wake Forest in that last game. They're a team on the rise. We generally like to get teams on the rise. You saw we had Pittsburgh and Wake Forest back in their days, and even North Carolina recently too. So that's been very beneficial to us. And, it's an exciting story. I mean, they got an exciting quarterback who's going to play. So we're excited about that. And, I think we got a good opponent too on the other side. UCF didn't have their best game. If you saw the game, you know the story of what happened there. But they do have some exciting players and a good team too. So we're really looking forward to it.
Do you have anything else for Steve? Jim, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, let me ask you about the contrast between the two universities. You've got on one end, you've got a very large state-supported university. On the other end, you've got a relatively small private school. Just talk about the benefits that accrue to your bowl for having that kind of contrast.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you look at Duke, 13,000, something like that at Duke, and then UCF's got 70,000. I think the second biggest school in the country. Obviously moving to the Big 12, a big stage. We'll see how they do there. It's really amazing to me that schools like Duke are able to perform as well as they can. 8-4 in a tough conference. I mean, with being a small school, and it's a different kind of recruit that you're getting there that you are from UCF. But both have a place in college football, and but it is really exciting to see how well Duke has done.
Thank you.
All righty. It seems like we do not have any more questions. Steve, I really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Okay.
Absolutely.
Best of luck to everybody. Let me know if anybody has questions. Be happy to answer.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All righty, we'll move on to Coach Elko. Coach, thank you for joining us tonight. Can you start us off with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions?
Yeah, first of all, thanks to Steve and his team for selecting us and giving us this opportunity. We're really excited to represent Duke in the Military Bowl. I've been through this experience before, and Steve kind of hit on it. It's a really unique bowl in just how it represents the armed forces, how it kind of pays tribute to the military and the different members of our armed services that serve this nation, and then kind of linking Washington D.C. and Annapolis together in the bowl experience is really unique. And so we're really excited for it. Our team's excited. We're excited to get up there and kind of put our best foot forward to represent Duke football. And then obviously have a lot of respect for the UCF program, certainly a program that has been on the national stage over the years and has been a team that has been in the center of these, New Year's Six bowl games and spotlights come bowl season for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And so, a lot of respect for their program, the tradition of their program. Certainly got a lot of respect for Coach Malzahn. Went against him when he was the head coach at Auburn in my early years at A&M. And so know what kind of program he runs, certainly the type of offense that he runs. And so, we'll dive in and start doing a deep dive into their program and their players. But, just on the surface, I think it's a great matchup for our university and our football team, and then obviously we're motivated to go out and finish this thing the right way and finish bowl season with a championship ring. And that's kind of our motive. And so excited for the opportunity, excited for what's coming, and open it up for any questions.
Steve, you want to kick us off?
Certainly. Hey, Mike, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Steve.
It seems like you guys are in position to be at your best in this game, as far as like you have the experience of the season. You got some guys that were banged up and maybe able to play in this one that haven't played over the last month or so. Just what are your feelings about that, about the possibilities of you guys being kind of at your best for this one?
Yeah, I think, obviously we haven't had the opportunity to be in a bowl the last few years. And so, our guys are excited to go through this experience. They're excited to go out there and play one more game together. We've talked a lot about this year about how close this group is, and then obviously I think, the extra time off will certainly give some of those guys banged up a chance to get back. We think Eli Pankel's got a really good chance to play. We think Nicky Delmolin's got a really good chance to play. We think Jacob Monk has a really good chance to play. And so, we're excited to see those guys back and just, all the bangs and bruises of the season. It's been nice to get a little bit of time off and let those things heal. And, we'll be a fresh football team headed into that game, I think.
Jim, go ahead.
Oh, hey, Mike, congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
Over the years, we've heard a lot of coaches talk about the benefits of getting those extra ball practices as a springboard to spring ball, as a springboard to the next season. Do you look at this as the last game of the 2022 season or the first game of the 2023 season?
Yeah, this is kind of its own entity now for us. We look at this as championship season, and that's kind of the way we talk about it. And so, you get the 12-game regular season that ends at the Wake Forest game, and now you get this little bit of time off to kind of focus on some things, heal the bodies, work on really developing certain parts of your roster. And then this for us is championship season. And what we're doing is we're going to this bowl game to try to become the 2022 Military Bowl champions and to walk away with this, with that trophy and put that as part of our program forever. And those things are special opportunities. And so we're certainly going to put our best foot forward. We're certainly not going to look at it as the first game of 2023. We're going to play this thing with our guys and play it to win and play it to the best of our capability.
Thank you.
Connor?
Mike, I realize you've only had kind of a couple hours on this, but what does the schedule look like for the next few weeks as far as when the guys will get to go home for Christmas, when they'll be back and going to Annapolis? And then will there be any maybe redshirt practices or freshman only practices? I think you mentioned something about that during the season about not wearing the guys out who've been practicing all year.
Yeah, we kind of come up with a snap count, and so guys that have played over a certain snap count, I think have worn the season, and the bumps and bruises that come with that and the bangs that come with that. And so, there's a group of guys right now that, are lifting and running and really trying to stay in shape and stay sharp without taking any more physical banging to try to let their bodies heal. And then there's a group, not necessarily freshmen only, but there's a group that are below that snap count. And what I expressed to them was, those guys really didn't, get to have the role that they wanted completely this year on offense and defense. And there's a lot of guys that helped us win football games and play big roles in us winning football games. But, all of those guys want more. And so this is an opportunity for those guys to go out and craft their skill and develop and really get a chance for some of the guys that have been on scout team and some of the red shirts to, really run our systems again. And so we did 2 of those last weekend. We'll do 2 more of those practices this coming weekend. And so be 4 in total for that group. And I think for those guys, it's a great launching point into spring practice. And then, the rest of the group will kind of start working back into what we call stay sharp practices, which we'll kind of start implementing next weekend, where we stay in rhythm and continue to function in our offenses the way we would want to. And then as we get into that weekend at the end of recruiting, we'll start kind of really cranking into, true bowl prep and UCF and trying to dive into the schemes that we want to implement in this game.
Do we have anything else for Coach? All righty. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Take care.
Thanks much.